Attorney John Sheehan is responsible for the content of this advertisement. West 5th Street, Los Angeles.
This is Southern California's only 24-hour local news and traffic station, KNX 1070 News Radio. Depend on us.
5:14, I'm Mike Simpson.
And I'm Karen Adams. Coming up,
Court ruling on who has to pay for a massive toxic cleanup prompts a protest in Boyle Heights.
I'm Bloomberg's Mona Rivera. Still no deal on stimulus and stock sell-off. That story is coming up in 5 minutes.
it's a KNX exclusive. Dr. Anthony Fauci responds to the attack on him by the president.
It's all in the next 15 minutes, 5:15 now. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 5s. Denise Fondo.
In West LA, we've got a Jeep that's overheating on the 405 southbound. This is just below the 10 and already out of lanes on the shoulder of the road, but certainly a couple of calls coming into CHP about that one. Irvine update, 5 northbound before Jamboree Road. We've got a crash with 3 cars in your center divider. A little bit of slowing there, and that stays with you as you make your way into Santa Ana. Let's head to Scott. We're sticking with the 5, that multi-car crash in Sylmar, Southern California Toyota dealers, Sky 3.
It is here. It's a bunch of cars northbound side of the 5, right by the 405 merge before you get to Roxford. That crash did block some right lanes for quite a while, so it quickly backed things up, but everything fortunately over to the right shoulder now on that northbound 5, but really tough, basically starting around Brantford right by the 170 merge there, and 170 northbound is going to be a tough ride right around Roscoe Boulevard heading up to the 5. 101 Ventura Freeway, the Jam Cam with Brian.
On westbound side, a little bit past Haskell, we had a stall in your middle lane for the better part of 10 minutes. Freeway Service Patrol got there, and they are towing it away right now, but still, it's a tough drive for you. Westbound from Coldwater, making your way through that 405, and eastbound loads up right about Van Nuys. From that point, stays heavy over to the 134. Denise.
Anaheim 91 westbound past Kramer Glassell. We're waiting to see a break in traffic to clear debris from the carpool and the left lane. Next report, 525 with more traffic reports more often. I'm Denise Fondo in the SDCCU 24-hour traffic center, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Near normal temperatures for the next few days, but we will still have the low clouds and fog each and every night and morning moving in. So we'll be a little bit overcast for the first part of the day, and then the clouds gradually clear. Temperatures this afternoon, low 70s for the coast, upper 70s for LA and Orange County Metro, upper 80s for the valleys, upper 80s for the Inland Empire, low 90s for the high deserts, and low 70s for the mountains. With Southern California's most accurate and dependable forecast, I'm CBS 2 meteorologist Amber Lee for KNX 1070 News Radio.
Your Semper Solaris temps 73 downtown LA, 73 degrees in Laguna Beach, 83 in Chino.
It's 5:17. Tonight, people are planning to protest a judge's ruling that a former battery recycling plant in Vernon does not have to pay to clean up a toxic mess it left behind. KNX 1070's Emily Valdez is live in Boyle Heights with a live report.
Yeah, that ruling now forces taxpayers to clean up that toxic mess that's now on the ground. Many neighbors say it gave them cancer. State officials say when the Exide plant was operating in Vernon, it would send clouds of toxic dust filled with lead all out to the surrounding communities, including Maywood, East LA, and Boyle Heights. That plant closed 5 years ago. So this evening here at Mariachi Plaza, neighbors and activists, they're planning to meet up. Then they're going to have a driving protest to the federal courthouse downtown. Governor Newsom chimed in on this previously, saying the ruling allows Exide to evade responsibility for poisoning homes, playgrounds, and backyards. The demonstration starts here at 6 p.m. Reporting live at Mariachi Plaza in Boyle Heights, Emily Valdez, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Officials in Orange County calling on the governor to allow for the return of youth sports, games, and competitions.
Standing behind home plate on a baseball field, they say getting young athletes playing and competing again is important. Orange County Supervisor Don Wagner.
They learn to win. More importantly, they often learn to lose. They learn to push themselves. They learn to work as a team. And none of that learning is getting done today.
Justin Roswell with the Baseball Factory has been involved in youth baseball for 25 years.
With the limited things that we've had going on over the last 7 months, it's really restricted those high school baseball players from being seen by college coaches. We've forced our athletes to go to Arizona. We've forced our athletes to go to Utah. We've taken the money from our state and bringing it to other states.
He challenged Governor Newsom to come up with a timeline and action plan for kids to get back on the field. All involved insist that it can be done safely with the proper protocols in place. In Tustin, Margaret Carrero, KNX 1070 News Radio.
The chief of the LA School District is questioning the reopening of many county businesses, potentially lengthening the pandemic's toll on kids in the district.
The Los Angeles School District has volunteers in place from Step Up Tutoring, a group that is helping 500 students from 9 LA schools.
One of the biggest differences families struggling to get by and those in more affluent communities is families who can afford it provide extra help. This new online effort seeks to close that gap by offering free tutoring.
As for reopening campuses, infection rates across Los Angeles County still too high, and Superintendent Austin Buettner took the green lighting of many business reopenings to task.
As indoor malls where groups of people can gather reopen, one starts to question priorities. If these openings are tied to increased cases, and that increase in cases is keeping schools closed, I have a problem with that.
He says the students at greatest risk of falling behind in this pandemic are younger and learning English. Craig Figner, KNX 1070 News Radio.
520, Mona Rivera checks your money.
The lack of progress on a stimulus deal led to a sell-off on Wall Street. The Dow closed down 411 points, 1.4%. The S&P fell 1.6%, and the Nasdaq skidded 1 2/3%. Federal Reserve officials continue to warn that the lack of more stimulus is undermining the economic recovery. Atlanta Fed Chief Bostic saying widespread permanent job loss is a big threat. Home builder sentiment has hit an all-time high thanks to the booming housing market. Still, home builders say they're struggling with shortages of labor, lumber, and buildable lots. Intel, a rare Dow stock in the green, with a gain of 0.75%. On a report that it is close to selling its memory chip unit to a South Korean firm for $10 billion. Shares of movie theater companies rose after New York said some theaters there will be allowed to reopen with limited capacity. We check your money at 20 and 50 after each hour. I'm Bloomberg's Mona Rivera from the HMS Capital Money Desk, KNX 1070 News Radio.
The Dodgers now focusing on tomorrow and winning another World Series championship. We'll have more 90 seconds away. It's 5:21.
At home, in the car, at work, no matter where you are, staying in touch has never mattered more.
Reporting live in Chino.
Reporting live from downtown LA.
Reporting live in Pasadena.
So check back here in the morning, at noon, and before the end of your day. We're updating the stories that affect you and your family throughout the day. KNX 1070 News Radio. Depend on us.
You get a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks. So much, I'm going to have to speed things up. You can get the claim-free discount, which gives you money off your homeowner's policy if you've been claim-free for 3 consecutive years. Also applies for 3 successive years, 3 years straight, and what's known to insurance fans as the claim-free three-peat. Get a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks. Start with a quote by calling 1-800-FARMERS.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Now for the legal something.
Not available in every state. Only available with select Farmers branded policies subject to terms and conditions underwritten by Farmers Truck or Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliate.
We have some good news about the upcoming presidential election. Every registered voter in Los Angeles County will be sent a vote-by-mail ballot to ensure you a safe voting option. But first things first, you need to register to vote. Already registered? Then make sure your status is still up to date. Let's get every vote in LA County. Get started at plan.lavote.net.
Our Eye in the Sky will be over the 5 between Griffith Park and Boyle Heights. We'll also be updating a problem on the 605 in Norwalk. When we check the roads again in 2 minutes, it's 5:23.
Coming off the thrill of the Game 7 win to clinch the National League Championship Series, Dodgers now set their sights on the goal that's eluded them since '88, winning the World Series. Reporters asked Clayton Kershaw to talk about how the team was able to come together, win the pennant.
To be able to get to go on to the World Series and get to play a team like the Braves and take them to 7 games after being down 3-1, and just a testament to those guys in the clubhouse, really. And it was a fun night, special night, and we're excited to get tomorrow going.
He starts Game 1 World Series tomorrow. Tampa Bay Rays opponents, like all the postseason games this series, will be played at Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas.
James Redford, a filmmaker and the son of Robert Redford, has died. His wife made the announcement today, saying the cause of death was bile duct cancer in his liver. Redford had a history of liver disease in addition to other medical issues. James Redford was also an environmental activist. He and his father founded the Redford Center, a nonprofit that produces films and grants money to filmmakers who create content on the environment and climate. James Redford was just 58 years old.
Some good news and bad news in the fight against prostate cancer.
A new government study shows prostate cancer cases are on the decline over the past 2 decades, but the same analysis finds the opposite is true for advanced prostate cancer cases. Dr. Timothy Wilson is a urologist at Providence St. John's Health Center.
In the early 90s, when PSA became available, there was a big uptick in the number of men with prostate cancer because we were finding so many men that had it. But we didn't know then what we know now. In other words, men that had prostate cancer diagnosed then were far more likely to have prostate cancer that didn't need treatment. But we didn't know that then. It took us 10 to 20 years to figure that out.
Dr. Wilson and other experts point out that understanding prostate cancer rates and survival can help better guide treatment and survivor care planning. Chris Seaton's KNX 1070 News Radio.
Dr. Anthony Fauci brushes off the harsh criticism of him when he spoke to KNX today. We'll have more at the bottom of the hour. It's 5:25.
Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 5s, brought to you by Caliber Garage Doors. Denise Fondo.
57 southbound, a little bit before Diamond Bar Boulevard. We've got a new crash reported. Looks like we've got 2 to 3 cars in this one. Right shoulder of the road for that. Southbound side looks good as far as slowing. Northbound side slow out of Brea and stays that way as you make your way toward the 60. Let's go to Scott. He is over the 5 between Griffith Park and Boyle Heights in the Southern California Toyota dealer Sky 3.
Really not too bad here, but southbound 5, you're going to get some slowing right around Glendale. From that point, it's going to be sluggish down to about Stadium Way. Actually, south of Stadium Way, it picks up to for you through Elysia Park down toward Boyle Heights. North 5 actually looks pretty tough. Looks like the worst of that slowing starting around the 10, the San Bernardino Freeway, as you work your way up toward the 110. And still have some issues. 605 Norwalk, the Jam Cam with Brian.
Yeah, we had an earlier crash northbound at Alondra. Everything was to the right shoulder, but the flatbeds just showed up, or they showed up about 15 minutes ago, so we had some right lanes blocked. That is why your North 605 is jammed from Del Amo, so unusual slowing for you. Normal slowing ahead from the 105 as you make your way up to the 5. Janice.
In Santa Ana, we've got a crash on the 5 southbound, and this is north of 17th. Actually, it's a stuck car, and it is across your 2 left lanes. And we had another problem just come in for the 5, and this is on the northbound side of the 5. As you head into the Orange Crush, it looks like we've got some debris across the 2 middle lanes. Make Caliber Garage Doors your #1 choice for new garage doors. Right now, $200 off, as low as $499 installed, and that includes the free bottom seals and haul-away. Caliber Garage Doors will beat any advertised price. Hundreds to choose from at CaliberGarageDoors.com, CaliberGarageDoors.com. Next report, 5:35, with more traffic reports more often. I'm Denise Fondo in the SDCCU 24-hour traffic center, KNX 1070 News Radio.
70s and 80s again as we go into tomorrow.
Another big COVID outbreak at the rescue mission in downtown LA. We'll have more in 3 minutes. It's 5:27.
Looking for fresh, quality meats? Then stop in and see the experts at Stater Brothers Markets. Our meat cutters can help you with custom cuts, seasoning, and marinating.
This week, fresh USDA choice beef loin, T-bone, and porterhouse steaks are just $5.99 a pound. And boneless top sirloin steaks are only $3.99 a pound. Enjoy with the delicious Cabernet Sauvignon. Selected bottles of Robert Mondavi are just $5.99 when you buy 4 or more.
Visit our website for more great deals. Now through Tuesday at Stater Brothers Markets.
Jerry Reynolds here, the Car Pro for my only certified Chevy dealer in Southern California, Rotolo Chevrolet. You'll see why when you visit their #1 in the entire state of California. Mike Capozio, the general manager, is not only my friend, but a true professional committed to your service and satisfaction. They'll help you find new roads at Rotolo Chevrolet on South Highland in Fontana. Take the 210 freeway, exit Sierra. Connect direct with Mike at CarProUSA.com or their website, Rotolo.com.
At Shell, we know from the time you get up to the time you wrap up,
Good night.
There's a lot of meetups, eat-ups, and hurry-ups. So come to Shell and get 3 things done at once. Fill up with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus to help keep your engine running like new. Save up with the Fuel Rewards program and never pay full price for gas again. And snack up with in-store rewards to save even more at the pump. Make the most of the stop you need to make with Shell. And engines that continuously use Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline. See full terms and conditions at fuelrewards.com.
No one ever plans on being in an accident, but that car ran the light. And my accident left me with so many questions. Do I have the best medical care? What about my job, my car, insurance? I gotta call the Barnes Firm. That was the best call I could have made.
At the Barnes Firm, we've handled thousands of accident cases. Our team works to answer all of your questions and help each client get the best result possible. Attorney John Sheehan is responsible for the content of this advertisement. West 5th Street, Los Angeles.
The world needs advocates for social justice now. Join LMU's doctoral program in educational leadership for social justice and tap into your skills and talents as a transformative leader. Designed for working professionals, the LMU doctoral program is offered online or on campus and can be completed in 3 years. No GRE required. Learn more at lmu.edu/doctoral.
You get a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks. So much, I'm going to have to speed things up. You can get new car replacement, so if your car is totaled, Farmers will pay to replace it with a new one of the same make and model, like reuniting with an old friend with the added benefit of that new car smell. So it's really new car and new car smell replacement. Get a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks. Start with a quote by calling 1-800-FARMERS.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Now for the legal something.
Optional coverage not available in every state. Only available with select Farmers branded policy, subject to terms and conditions. Underwritten by Farmers Truck or Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliate.
This is Southern California's only 24-hour local news and traffic station, KNX 1070 News Radio. I'm Mike Simpson.
And I'm Karen Adams. Our top local story at 5:30. Governor Gavin Newsom says don't expect a publicly available vaccine this year as the coronavirus appears ready to roar once again.
COVID-19 has killed nearly 17,000 people in California. That's the third most lives lost in any state other than New York and Texas.
This is that dreaded third wave that some had projected for California. This may be better termed a second wave, since we never experienced that first wave like many did in the northeast part of the United States.
While the testing positivity rate remains stable in California at about 2.5%, 7-day ICU admissions are slightly up. Newsom also said if a vaccine is made available before the year's end, only about 1 million people statewide will get it.
When we talk about vaccinations, don't anticipate or expect that you can go down to a local pharmacy anytime in this calendar year and likely get a vaccination.
Newsom also says the state has a task force that's made plans to distribute a vaccine to the public when one does become widely available. Emily Valdez, KNX 1070 News Radio.
The homeless shelter in downtown LA stops taking in new people as it deals with a second COVID-19 outbreak.
It's going right back into the battle of our lives to secure the lives of our guests and our staff.
Andy Bales, president and CEO of the Union Rescue Mission on Skid Row, says at least 19 guests and staff members have tested positive. Another 36 or so are in quarantine. So far, this outbreak is much smaller than the one that hit the mission this spring when there were more than 100 cases and 3 deaths. Bales credits weekly surveillance testing for helping to catch this latest outbreak, in which he says many of the people infected had no symptoms.
We're taking every precaution we can.
But Bales says some leaders, and he won't name names, are making it harder to convince people to take steps to prevent the spread of the virus.
So I'm just asking for help. Please stay consistent. Please tell the truth. Please stick with science.
Bales says the mission is telling people to wear masks, stay apart, and wash their hands, and he just wants leaders to make his job less difficult. Claudia Pescuta, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Maybe you heard it live here on KNX. Dr. Anthony Fauci brushed off a blistering personal attack direct from the president over the pandemic.
People are tired of hearing about coronavirus, and he's part of a group of idiots. And if it were up to him, there would be at least 500,000, maybe 800,000 Americans dead. Those words from President Trump during a phone call to campaign staffers that was recorded.
I don't want to get involved in that. Me against the president. That's not helpful. That creates a dialogue that distracts people.
Appearing live on KNX In Depth, Dr. Anthony Fauci took the high road, talked about his priorities amidst this pandemic.
Being able to open the economy in the setting of prudent, careful public health measures.
Dr. Fauci said it wouldn't be unrealistic by year's end to have at least one vaccine against coronavirus.
I'd be happy with a 75% effective vaccine. We really need to get a lot of people to take the vaccine.
And he says that would be the big challenge, regardless how effective the vaccine is. Craig Figner, KNX 1070 News Radio.
LAPD detectives have booked a woman in connection with the murder of an MTA employee. Friday night, KNX 1070's Pete Demetrio live in downtown LA with the details.
LAPD fugitive warrant section officers found 25-year-old Irma Monroy in an area of East Hollywood and arrested her about 3 hours ago. Detective Larry Bircher with Central Bureau of Homicide said it was a combination of leads from WeTip along with information that had tied her into an assault with a deadly weapon charge earlier this year that led to the arrest. Monroy lives in Los Angeles but has been homeless for some time. At the time of her arrest, she was in possession of a distinctive green bicycle seen on video images from the Figueroa and 7th location for the MTA, and a knife believed to be the one used in the killing of that MTA employee. At this time, she's been booked on both a murder and assault with a deadly weapon charge. Her arraignment is scheduled for Wednesday morning. Her bail currently set at $2,060,000. At LAPD Central Bureau, I'm Pete Demetrio, KNX 1070 News Radio.
An Anaheim caretaker was arrested today on suspicion of raping a severely disabled longtime patient. Raul Salgado Castro was taken into custody on his way to work this morning and booked on suspicion of raping the 45-year-old woman for whom he had been a caregiver for nearly 20 years. He's being held on $100,000 bail, but investigators plan to seek a higher bail. Anyone with information relevant to this case is asked to give police a call. The suspect's picture is on our website, knx1070.com. Lots of shaking off the coast of Alaska. The earthquake registered a magnitude 7.5. More after traffic. It's 5:35.
Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 5s. Denise Fondo.
We've got a wreck on the 710. This is in Commerce, southbound side north of the 5. You got a couple of big rigs involved in this one. And right now it looks like the right lane is tied up. And we're going to see a traffic break in downtown LA on your 110 southbound side coming up on 3rd. CHP needs to get something out of the roadway. Let's go to Scott. He is over the 10 between Monterey Park and West Covina. Southern California Toyota dealers, Sky 3.
Can always count on slowing here. 10 eastbound, definitely sluggish through the 710. Looks like that's going to remain slow out through about Rosemead Boulevard. It does get better past that, but slows again through the 605. Leaving Peck Road, on and off slowing will continue heading out through West Covina. Some issues now for the 91, the Jam Cam with Brian.
Westbound side here in Anaheim, just past Harbor Lemon. We had furniture in the 2 middle lanes. CHP just ran a break. I watched them just pull everything over to the right, so all lanes are open, but still slow westbound from State College. Eastbound, you're a little sluggish from Euclid, making your way over towards that 57. Denise.
And we still have a problem reported on the 5 in Santa Ana northbound just before 17th. And we had a car that was stuck in the 2 left lanes. Actually looks like they did run the brake, and it is now on the shoulder waiting for a tow truck. Next report at 5:45 with more traffic reports more often. I'm Denise Fondo in the SDCCU 24-hour traffic center, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Quiet week looks like weather-wise, so that's nice. 70s, 80s into the upper 80s today. Clouds and sun. Dropping the temps later this week. We'll have a 5-day forecast at 5:45. But for tomorrow, a lot like today, low clouds and fog when you wake up. And then these kind of temps, 73 in downtown LA. It's the same now in Santa Ana. In Riverside, it's 81 degrees.
It's 5:37. A magnitude 7.5 earthquake off the Alaska Peninsula this afternoon. It prompted a tsunami warning for a vast swath of communities, leading some schools to evacuate and send students to higher ground. Meanwhile, the California Office of Emergency Services tweeted, There is no tsunami threat to the state at this time in an effort to quell the fears that coastal regions may be at risk. Now, the state government says it's continuing to monitor the situation.
Just over 2 weeks till the election, the president's campaigning in Arizona, battleground state. Speaking in Prescott, Mr. Trump took a swing at and mispronounced the name of the Democratic vice presidential candidate, Kamala Harris.
We're not going to be losing our nation to Kamala, who's further left than Bernie. I'd rather have Bernie than Kamala. And you'll have a woman president someday, but it's not going to be Kamala. You don't want that as your first woman. You don't want Kamala.
He discounted polls that showed him trailing Biden in the states that he carried by more than 3 points in 2016.
Democratic vice presidential candidate Kamala Harris is back on the campaign trail, attending a car rally in Orlando, Florida, on the first day of early voting in the state. Harris and Joe Biden are generally avoiding traditional campaign rallies because of the coronavirus pandemic. Harris spoke from a stage as supporters honked their horns.
What you will do here in Florida, in Orlando, what you will do by early voting is you will be the first to put our country back on the right track.
Harris stopped travel last week after her staff members tested positive for the coronavirus. The campaign says Harris did not need to quarantine under CDC guidelines, but she paused travel for 4 days and she has repeatedly tested negative for the virus.
The president and Joe Biden will have their microphones cut off in Thursday's debates while their rival delivers their opening 2-minute answers to each of the debate topics. 90-minute debates divided into 6 15-minute segments, each candidate getting 2 minutes to deliver uninterrupted remarks before proceeding to an open debate. The discussion portion will not feature a mute, but interruptions by either candidate will count toward their time in the second and final debates Thursday. These are the new rules from the Nonpartisan Commission on Presidential Debates, announced this afternoon, 3 weeks after the chaotic opening face-off between the two that featured frequent interruptions.
There are warning signs for President Trump's re-election efforts in 2 battleground states.
In Arizona, few voters, even for members of the president's own party, have a lot of faith in him when it comes to his handling of the pandemic in a state that saw one of the worst spikes this past summer. Samara Klar is an associate professor at the University of Arizona.
Republicans in Arizona are actually quite out of step with Trump when it comes to coronavirus. We found that over 80% of Republicans in Arizona are often wearing masks, and
could very well swing back to blue, says Ohio State University professor Paul Beck.
The economy here is still problematic. My own feeling is that Trump should have emphasized the economy more, although maybe the pandemic prevents him from being able to take advantage of the kinds of economic accomplishments people might think he had prior to March.
Beck says President Trump is also losing support from suburban voters in Ohio, especially women. We focus on the race for the White House every Monday afternoon at 4:15 and every Friday morning at 7:45. Brian Ping, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Our eye in the sky will be over the 210 from Pasadena to Irwindale when we check the roads again at 5:45. And there's also a crash on the 101 Hollywood Freeway to tell you about. It's 5:41.
No one likes waiting in long lines, especially during the pandemic. Luckily for LA County voters, you can completely skip the line. How? Vote by mail. All registered voters will be sent a vote-by-mail ballot so you have a safe voting option in the presidential election. Fill it out in the safety of your home and return your completed ballot early. Let's get every vote in. Visit plan.lavote.net for more information.
Amazon is now hiring near you. We're looking for team members who know that delivering important packages is important work. Ready to work hard and make someone's every day? Ready for benefits and flexible shifts? Immediate hourly roles are available at Amazon.com/apply. That's Amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
It's me, your personal info. Remember when I was only in a few places?
Like your wallet,
your computer, or a safe deposit box. Well, now I'm practically everywhere. On all your devices. Where you browse, shop,
and bank online.
Anywhere you log in.
your info is out there.
And what you do online can leave you vulnerable to cybercriminals. More threats demand more protection. That's why Norton and LifeLock are now part of one company. Norton 360 with LifeLock provides all-in-one membership for your cyber safety that gives you device security, identity theft protection, a VPN for online privacy, and more. No one can prevent all cybercrime and identity theft, but Norton 360 with LifeLock is your ally in today's connected world, even if your info is on vacation. Sign up today for Norton 360 with LifeLock and save 25% or more off your first year by going to norton.com/radio. That's norton.com/radio for 25% off.
Thinking about life insurance? Did you know in just a few minutes you can find the best price from up to 10 price competitive companies for free? You can with SelectQuote. For example, George is 39. He was getting sky-high quotes from other companies because he takes meds to control his blood pressure. But when I shopped around, I found him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $22 a month. I'm SelectQuote agent Dan Savino, and believe me, If SelectQuote isn't shopping for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. We shop some of the most trusted life insurance companies to save you time and money. Within minutes, you can find the right price for you for free. Go to SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your premium could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Looking for fresh, quality meats? Then stop in and see the experts at Stater Brothers Markets. Our meat cutters can help you with custom cuts, seasoning, and marinating.
This week, fresh USDA choice beef loin, T-bone, and porterhouse steaks are just $5.99 a pound. And boneless top sirloin steaks are only $3.99 a pound. Enjoy with the delicious Cabernet Sauvignon. Selected bottles of Robert Mondavi are just $5.99 when you buy 4 or more.
Visit our website for more great deals. Now through Tuesday at Stater Brothers Markets.
At Shell, we know from the time you get up to the time you wrap up,
Good night.
There's a lot of meetups, eat-ups, and hurry-ups. So come to Shell and get 3 things done at once. Fill up with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus to help keep your engine running like new. Save up with the Fuel Rewards program and never pay full price for gas again. And snack up with in-store rewards to save even more at the pump. Make the most of the stop you need to make with Shell and engines that continuously use Shell V-Power Nitro Plus premium gasoline. See full terms and conditions at fuelrewards.com.
This is Southern California's only 24-hour local news and traffic station, KNX 1070 News Radio. Depend on us.
544, I'm Mike Simpson.
And I'm Karen Adams. Coming up,
some officials in Orange County say it is time for youth sports games and competitions to resume. I'm Margaret Carrero in Tustin.
I'm Bloomberg's Mona Rivera. Pessimistic remarks from an influential market strategist. That story is coming up in 5 minutes.
Governor Newsom says we're likely headed into another wave of coronavirus in California, and don't be relying on a vaccine. I'm Emily Valdez.
It's all in the next 15 minutes, 545 now. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 5s, brought to you by your Southern California BMW centers. Denise Fondo.
We've got a wreck in downtown LA on the 101. This is on your southbound side, and it's just before you reach the 110. Looks like we've got a couple of cars in this one. I see slow traffic from about Santa Monica Boulevard. Everybody made it to the right shoulder. And then on the 10 westbound, right at Alameda on the Santa Monica Freeway, we've got a stalled car reported there in your number 3 lane. Let's go to Brian Douglas updating that wreck on the 57 Diamond Bar Jam Cam.
It's going to be on northbound side of the 57, right before you get to the 60. Just as you're merging there, a couple cars got into it on that. That's a narrow right shoulder right there. It's already a tough drive northbound just as you pass Tyner Canyon on the 57. If you're southbound, you get a little slow as you make your way into the crush. Now let's go north of here, have a look at your drive on the 210 out of Pasadena through Irwindale with Scott, the Southern California Toyota dealers, Sky 3.
Actually didn't look too bad out of Pasadena, 210 eastbound, but once you start getting into Arcadia, right around Huntington or so, that's where it's going to slow down. Looks like just on and off reduced speeds as you head out through the 605 into Irwindale. Denise.
Through November 2nd, lease a 2020 BMW X5S Drive 40i for $669 a month for 36 months with $5,094 due at signing. Contact us SoCal BMW Center today for details or visit SoCalBMW.com. Next report, 5:55 with more traffic reports more often. I'm Denise Fondo in the SDCCU 24-hour traffic center, KNX 1070 News Radio.
The quiet weather pattern continues till the middle of the week, and then we're expecting much cooler conditions for the latter part of the week as a trough to the north starts to push in a little bit closer to the southland. This, in turn, could bring us a slight chance of light rain from the coast to the mountains as we head into the weekend. It's not going to be a big rainmaker, but 1/10 of an inch or less with isolated amounts up to 1/4 inch or less. Temperatures tomorrow, a little closer to normal, same as today. Low 70s for the coast, upper 70s for LA and Orange County Metro, upper 80s for the valleys, upper 90s for the Inland Empire, upper 90s for the high deserts, and low 70s for the mountains. With Southern California's most accurate and dependable forecast, I'm CBS 2 meteorologist Amber Lee for KNX 1070 News Radio.
December Solaris temperatures 73, downtown LA 71, Huntington Beach 81, Riverside.
It's 5:47. There's a push in Orange County for the resumption of youth sports games and competitions.
Several people involved with local athletic facilities say it can be done safely. Bernie Towers is the president of Coast Soccer League.
Southern California's governing soccer organizations have outlined a return to play protocol.
and are ready to implement it if given the opportunity by state and local governments.
Another youth soccer official said they would have staggered game times, one parent per child, with masks on, seated 6 feet apart. All coaches and staff would also be wearing masks. Brian Goodell is an Olympic gold medalist and mayor of Mission Viejo.
We shouldn't have to send our youth to Arizona to compete. And that's what's happening today. They're going to Arizona and they're competing safely.
As of right now, state guidance does not permit sports events, tournaments, or competitions, but those advocating for it are calling on the governor to provide a timeline and action plan to get kids back on the field. In Tustin, Margaret Carrero, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Still no hint of an in-person reopening date for LAUSD schools. Superintendent says he's not happy with many business reopenings, while the virus infection rates in LA are still dangerously high.
Elected officials at all levels are under lots of pressure to reopen the economy. I have a problem with that.
LA County Superintendent Austin Buettner taking issue with some county reopenings of businesses that he says could be contributing to the continued spread of coronavirus and lengthening the pandemic's toll on his district.
The overall level of COVID-19 in the Los Angeles area remains well above the levels the state has set for schools to consider reopening. Online learning is not a substitute for being at school. Principals and teachers are making a big stride in what great online instruction looks like.
And he says the district continues to feed not only students, but their families and bear the cost entirely.
It's the largest school-based relief effort in our nation's history.
So far, 70 million meals to students and parents and counting. Craig Figner, KNX 1070 News Radio.
A standoff inside a building on the Paramount Studios lot in Hollywood has ended with a man suspected of sexual assault taken into custody. Fullerton police investigating the sex assault found out the man worked at the studios. They confronted him outside before he pulled out a knife. Fullerton Police Corporal Billy Food tells KNX officers then used a taser and beanbag rounds on the man, but he didn't give up.
The suspect then fled at one point on foot into Paramount Studios, where he barricaded himself for approximately an hour and a half.
Officers then ran into the building and took the man into custody. Fu says the man had self-inflicted knife injuries and was taken to the hospital.
550, Mona Rivera checks your money.
Stocks hit a low they haven't seen in nearly 4 weeks as lawmakers remained far apart on new fiscal stimulus. The Dow dropped 411 points, 1.4%. The S&P gave up 1.6%, and the Nasdaq pulled back 1 2/3%. The chief U.S. equity strategist at Morgan Stanley is sounding an alarm. Mike Wilson thinks the S&P 500 is at risk of falling 10% from its high reached a week ago. He cites the stalemate over stimulus, among other factors. American Airlines with a slight gain on word that it's hoping to fly the 737 MAX by year's end if the grounded jet gets the okay to fly again. Redfin, the online brokerage website, is reporting that Greenwich, Connecticut had the fastest rising real estate prices in the country in September, up 33% as the pandemic fueled a rush to the suburbs. We check your money at 20 and 50 after each hour. I'm Bloomberg's Mona Rivera from the HMS Capital Money Desk, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Sesame Street is out with its first podcast. Some favorite monsters are hosting it. We'll have more in 90 seconds. It's 5:51.
It's the last time they'll face each other.
It's a political game he's playing.
It's the last chance to get your votes.
Suburban women should love Trump.
It's the final presidential debate.
How do you lose to a guy like this?
Hear it live Thursday night beginning at 6. The final presidential debate.
This is the most important election of our lifetime.
Listen online at radio.com, on your smart speaker, on the radio.com app, and on air at KNX 1070 News Radio. Depend on us.
You get a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks. So much, I'm going to have to speed things up. You can get the Farmers Signal app, and that could get you up to 15% off your auto policy. That's just for using the app and driving like the normal speed limit adhering, full stop making, lane change signaling human being you are. Get a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks. Start with a quote by calling 1-800-FARMERS.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Now for the legal something.
Not available in every state and discount varies. Only available with select Farmers branded policies subject to terms and conditions underwritten by Farmers Drug and Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliate.
The world needs advocates for social justice now. Join LMU's doctoral program in educational leadership for social justice and tap into your skills and talents as a transformative leader. Designed for working professionals, the LMU doctoral program is offered online or on campus and can be completed in 3 years. No GRE required. Learn more at LMU.edu.